7 of the Arctic Crafts podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. I also have a group on Ravelry for the podcast, and there you can find knit-alongs, show notes for the podcast, and eventual giveaways. Speaking of knit-alongs and make-alongs, the deadline for the Treat Yourself make-along is on Sunday, January 31st. At midnight, I'll close the thread and I'll draw the winners February 1st. And I'll notify the winners as soon as I've drawn the names, and I'll tell you who won on my next podcast, or I'll do it on Instagram TV. We'll see what I figure out. And since this is a knitting podcast, we can mention what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Topolino by Isabell Kraemer, and the yarn is Comfy Merino by Martin Stab in the colorway Tory. So that's what I'm wearing. It's a beautiful winter's day today. The sun is back, so I actually have some sunshine in through the windows. So no artificial light today, but it's really cold outside. We tried going for a walk yesterday evening, but we just turned around when we got just a bit down the street because it was too cold. You would think we would be used to the cold living in northern Norway, but where we live, it's actually really cold, but we live really close to the ocean, so it's a different kind of cold, if you know what I mean. It's been a tough week because my arthritis flared up. I have arthritis in my shoulder and it flared up, and I was only able to dye 1 day this week. That means the shop update on Sunday isn't as big as it normally is, but at least I have some yarn going into the shop on Sunday. Thankfully, I was able to dye last week. That's one of the beauties of doing a shop update every other Sunday, because if I have a bad day or two, I can actually get some work done anyway. So that's about it for life stuff. Nothing exciting happening. We've decided to go to Tromsø for winter break to visit my oldest son, because my youngest son is coming here for winter break, so we take a tiny family vacation, unless the lockdown worsens. As it is, you can only do necessary travel, domestic travel, and visiting family is viewed as necessary travel in some cases. But the winter break isn't until early March, so hopefully things have calmed down a bit before then. We get to see my youngest son anyway, and my oldest son might come down here next month. So hopefully I'll get to see both of them, even though we can't travel to Tromsø. Hopefully we can, because both me and hubby loves Tromsø. And that's nicely paused, nicely placed break for drinking a sip of water, because I wanted to show you the mug. It's a gift from my good friend Sue in Canada, and it's from Knit Swag, and she got me a mug. The care package she sent me was amazing, and it's full of stuff, and this was just one of them. I'll show you the rest in show and tell. So maybe we should get back to the knitting. I got distracted after showing you the sweater, and then I got distracted. So will try showing you the rest of the knitting. I have 2 finished objects, but one of them is rather epic. So we'll take the epic one first. I'll have a bit of problem holding up stuff to show today because this shoulder isn't cooperating with me. So I'll try my best and I'll put in a picture of what it looks like on. So this is the Laurel cardigan by Christoffers. It's supposed to be an open front cardigan, but I figured that I wanted a closure at the waist. And because it's a cable, it's got a natural buttonhole. So I really love this cardigan. I've worn it quite a bit already. And the yarn is Drops Charisma. So it's a budget-friendly yarn. So this cardigan, and I even got it on sale, so this cardigan is not an expensive garment. And that's a good thing, because then I can use it as a cozy cardigan at home and I don't have to worry about getting stains on it or cat hairs. But cat hairs is in anything, everything in this house. So that's the Laurel cardigan. And my other FO is a test knit for FlowerBird's Designs. And it's my cable party cowl. It's called Flettekalas in Norwegian. And it's knit in XR Merino DK in my colorway Maison. So that's my FOs. And I'm not sure when this is published, but I'm thinking April, because the deadline for the test knit is the end of March. Had to take a small break to let in one of the cats. He insists on going outside even though it's cold, and he wants to come back in a few minutes later, and I forgot that I let him out half an hour ago, and now he was at the door insisting on being let in. So now I have 2 cats with me. Hopefully they won't start a fight in the background while I'm talking to you. To continue with the knitting, I have a few whips. I can start with the sock whips. These socks are in a bag that was part of the care package from my friend Sue. I'm not sure if she made it. She makes bags, and there's not a tag on this one, so she might have made it. I don't know. This is a pair of socks. I just wanted to cast on some self-striping. And it's one of those, it's not exactly self-striping, but it spirals, so it looks self-striping. And the yarn is by Twinkly Knits, and this is it in the cake. And this cake doesn't look too good, but it's been thrown around a lot, so that's why. Those I should tell you. The pattern, of course, it's Hermione's Everyday Socks by Lueder. And this heel in this pattern is my preferred heel in all my socks. Naturally I knit that heel in this pattern. And I use it on all patterns that call for a heel flapping gusset heel. And my vanilla socks as well. I use that heel. So that's the first pair of socks I'm working on. The second pair is a pair of socks I started because one of my new colorways, Pop Rocks, one of the sock sets I dyed up. I didn't like the way the speckles were distributed, so I figured this is seconds. I can use this myself. So I might not use these as sample socks because the yarn is seconds. There's too little hot pink in it for my liking. So these are the socks. The pattern is Shell Cove by K. Jones. And as you can see, there's more speckles at the start of this sock than at the end of this sock. So that's why I don't want to use them as sample socks. But I wanted to use the yarn. And this is in a bag that my good friend Sue made for me. And this is starting to become the Sue podcast because I have a big bag of stuff to show you at the end of the podcast. But anyway, that's my second sock whip. And I actually have two sweater whips. One that I worked on a bit. It's a sweater whip I've had on the needles for quite some time, and I picked it up again and started working on it. And then I got distracted. We'll take the one that I've put aside again first. I wanted to knit a sweater in my single ply, and this is the colorway Plum Jam. I don't have any single ply Plum Jam in stock at the moment, but I can easily dye up some for you if you want to. That goes for all my colorways, by the way, almost all my colorways. If you want a sweater quantity, or if you want some colors for a shawl or something like that, just let me know and I'll dye up a custom order for you. It's starting to become interesting here because the cats are okay. They're separating again. So this is the sweater I chose to knit in my single ply. It's the Love Note by Tin Can Knits, and the color is actually showing exactly like it as it looks like in the flesh, so to speak. So that's I have knit a different size than the last time I knit the Love Note because I've got a different gauge, and so I actually think that this that the lace will be as high up as this, so I may not have to use anything underneath. I'll see, because the other Love Note, the lace pattern is down here, so I have to wear a t-shirt under it because it's for natural reasons. This sweater whip is in this bag. The black, as you can tell, on the black part I have two white cats that love to sleep on my knitting. And this bag is by the Tangled Stitch. And I love this bag, and I've used it as a purse sometimes as well, but I haven't got a lot of sweater size project bags, so when I have two sweaters on the needles, I need to I have three sweaters on the needles, but one I haven't been working on, so I'm not showing you that until I'm working on it. And the new sweater whip that distracted me from the Love Note is in a bag that my friend Dora sent me. Sharon from Security, and I really loved getting this bag because I was part of the mystery knit along for I've shown you that in an earlier episode. So I really wanted this bag, and now I got it thanks to Dora. This really nice sweater whip, and it's almost finished. And this is Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry. And as you can tell, I already have one sleeve done. And I'm picking up for the second sleeve today, and hopefully I'll finish it this weekend. Maybe even today, depends. And the yarn, I really love the yarn. It's this yarn. I could have gotten a ball for you, of course, but it's this yarn. It's Drops Nord, or Nord, some I would say in Norwegian. And you can see the fiber content. If it will focus, you can see the fiber content. And because it's 45% alpaca, I knit it. I was wondering if I should knit it longer, but because it's superwash and it contains alpaca, I'll know it's going to stretch. And the problem with that is that the sleeves are exactly the right length, because I wanted to finish the decreases, or decreases, sorry. It might end up being too long in the sleeves, but that's not the big problem, because you could always fold them up, or I was saying fold them up, or I could stitch them up, of course, but it's not a problem. The Laurel cardigan also ended up being too long in the sleeves, and I just fold it up at the ends. So those were my whips. I'm just checking my show notes. Those were my works in progress. I have another work in progress, but that is something about my show and tell, so I'll talk about that now, and I'm going to put in a picture of the work in progress in a bit, because I fell down a rabbit hole. I've been wanting to buy a loom for some time, and I got a small amount of money after my mother passed, and I thought I should get myself something I've been wanting for some time, and then I bought myself an Ashford knitter's loom, and I'll put in a picture here. And the first day I had it, I worked it, and I wove an entire I would say it's 1.50 meters or something, because I warped the loom on our dining room table, because I wasn't sure how I was going to set it up for a longer warp, and I wanted to make a sample anyway, so it wasn't a big problem. So this is my sample, and don't judge, because this is the first time I've woven anything since I was a teenager, and that was on a big floor loom. I'm not sure what they are called in English, but it's the massive kind that stands on the floor that you use for rugs and stuff like that. So this is made with my Drops Charisma. I have a big stash of Drops Charisma in a load of different colors, and this is my first. I was thinking of making more sample panels the same width and length as this one, and I'm going to attach them to each other at the end and maybe use them as a blanket. Hubby just looked at this and he said, "Ah, what a nice table runner," and I told him it's not a table runner, and it's going to be a blanket, because this will soften up a lot when I wash it. As it is, it's a bit too stiff to be a blanket. And then and later the same day he said, "Are you sure that's not a table runner?" So maybe that's what I'm going to use it for. I don't think so. The one I'm working on now might become a table runner, I think, because it's really brightly colored. I can't hold up the loom for obvious reasons, but you've seen the picture, and I'll show you the table runner when it's finished. My shoulder is feeling better today, so I think I'll try to get some weaving done, because that motion doesn't agree with my shoulder. So hopefully it wasn't the weaving setting the arthritis off, because I would hate that. Then I would have to, I couldn't weave as much as I want to. But my neighbor used to have used to run the local yarn store, and she still has some inventory left. Among other things, she has warping thread made in cotton, and she said I could buy it cheap. So I need a new heddle though, because the heddle that came with the knitter's loom is suitable for this weight of yarn. This is DK light worsted, and I want to weave with fingering yarns. So they were out of the finer heddle when I bought the loom, but as soon as they are in stock, I'll buy the other heddle. And I managed to, the hook you use when you warp the loom, I don't know where it went. Thankfully I have a crochet hook that's fine enough to be used instead on this heddle, but those warping hooks are insanely cheap, so I'm going to order a couple, I think, so I have a spare, because that's typical me. I keep losing stuff. Thankfully this time it was something really cheap. So let's get on with the, I of course have put it, I can see it from here, but I can't reach it. So just a moment, and I'm back. We'll start with the bag everything is in. She actually gave me a skein of woolen vine yarns and a tote bag. And this is something I would never be able to get unless it was gifted to me. So thank you, Sue, because now I actually have a skein of woolen vine. It's in her Nouveau base and it's called Tea Leaves. And as soon as I got this, I realized this is almost identical to my Eton Mess colorway. That means I don't have to use this ever because it's so gorgeous. And one skein of single ply, I'm not sure what I would use it for anyway. I have a one skein shawl knit in my Eton Mess, so that's not an option. So I'll just hang on to this for the time being. And if I want something knit in single ply in this colorway, I'll just dye myself up some Eton Mess. So that's the first skein. I finally have some woolen vine yarn. Yes. And I've already shown you the mug. And because I love David's tea and pink, she sent me a pink tin from David's tea. I've already started using it, and this smells amazing. It's of course David's tea, and it's their apple cider, because that's one of my favorite teas from them. I'm actually going to make myself a cup afterwards when I talk to you. So there was some more yarn in this care package, and we'll go through that. Me and Sue, we have this thing about self-striping sock yarn, both of us. And both of us can get a pair of socks from 50 grams of self-striping. Because you use, mostly use a contrasting cuff, heel and toe when you knit with self-striping, at least I do. And she's got, she's gotten a sock knitting machine, so she goes through this self-striping in a really quickly. And I've so when I have knit a pair of self-striping socks, I'll send her the 50 grams I have left, and she does the same for me. And this way I get hold of dyers I would normally not be able to get because of the VAT. Everything is put on everything into Norway. Buying yarn from abroad has gotten really expensive. So I just spoiled myself a bit, and I subscribed to Nora George's Harry Potter blanket club. You get 5 20-gram minis a month, or that is one of the options. That's the option I chose because I love minis and I love Nora George. So I thought I would really like that, and hubby said, so I didn't spoil myself. Hubby spoiled me because he is paying for it. And in February I get my first installment, and I can't wait. But let's talk about the yarn I got from Sue instead. This is Area 51. It's a Poplar self-striper, and now I actually have one. And the colorway is the base is Sturdy Alien, and that's a really fun base name. But of course, if the yarn dyer calls herself Area 51, what else? And the colorway name is Drunk Unicorn. So that's 50 grams of self-striping, enough for a pair of socks. And we have Comfy Cozy. Those are really muted Christmassy colors, and the colorway name is Oh What Fun. So I suppose this is a Christmas colorway, but that's Comfy Cozy Knits, and the colorway is Oh What Fun. And then we have 2 more Comfy Cozy Knits, and this is it's a celebration. And I think that is her New Year's skein, New Year colorway. And that's really bright colors. And I think this might be the first skein I cast on, and I might cast them on today, even though I have loads of socks on the needles. But the sweater is getting really heavy, the pink Fizz, and my shoulder is not too pleased when I lift the shoulders higher than this. And when you knit sleeves on a sweater, you have to lift it up and twist it from time to time. So I might cast on a pair of socks, and I have a neon green, and that would go amazing as a contrasting cuff, heel and toe on these. And there's 1 skein left. No, another 50 gram skein left. That's also from Comfy Cozy Knits, and it's also a Christmas colorway. And of course she needed to send me this because it's pink, and it's called Candy Cane Bliss. And the ones that are Christmassy, these 2, I think I'll put them aside and cast them on in November, because every year I treat myself to a couple of skeins of Christmas yarn. And the last year I didn't buy any hand-dyed. I bought a skein, I bought 2 balls of West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colorways, and one of them ended up going missing after I cast them on, including the project bag they were in. So but I'm going to put these aside in my stash and cast them on in November, I think, for this year's Christmas. And there was another little thing in here, a Knit City measuring tape, because she bought me a Knit City measuring tape once before, and it broke. This snapped off. So now she actually gave me hers because she wanted me to have a Knit City measuring tape. The one that broke, I've actually been using it. I know when I measure, I start at 10 centimeters. So if I need to knit 20 centimeters, I use 10 to 30. And I know that's 20 centimeters. But it's really nice having one that actually works as it's supposed to do. And she got me a virtual Knit City 2020 bag. And this size bag is perfect for a 2-skein shawl, for instance. So this is I really love these type of bags because you can use them for anything, because it's a good size and a really sturdy cotton canvas. So that's it. And there are more bags in here. I'm not sure if some of these are D-stashes and if she made some of them herself, but I know she made this one because I commented on this fabric and she said she had some of that fabric. And it's Doctor Who and Starry Night by Van Gogh in one and the same. So who doesn't want that? So since this is a sock bag, I'll probably put the new cast on in that one. And the rest of the bags, there's a lot of bags in here, and because there are a lot of them, I'll just show them as I use them, I think. That's the easiest way to do it. I believe most of them are D-stash because she has a large project bag stash, and thanks to Sue, I'm starting to have a large project bag stash myself. So the only thing remaining now is to show you my shop update. And speaking of shop updates, please remember that January 31st is the deadline for ordering my mystery skein for February, the Arctic Seasons mystery skein for February. January 31st at midnight, I close it down in the shop and start dyeing it the following day, so it's dry and can ship out the first week of February. So just a reminder. And then I can go through my shop update. I'll just have a sip of water. Podcasting is thirsty work. I've been trying to vlog on Instagram off and on, but I'm trying to be better at this social media stuff because I'm trying to make a living here, so I should be better at social media. But I've had the end of last year and the start of this year, I'm sort of in the dumps. So I do what I have to do, and I don't have the energy to do a lot extra. But vlogging on Instagram TV is really good because all I have to do is press a button, speak for a bit, and then it's posted on Instagram. So I don't have to get the camera out, I don't have to edit it afterwards, I can just post it. So that's the beauty of using Instagram for blogging. But enough talking, let's go through the shop update. First of all, I've dyed up 2 sweater quantities on a base that's on its way out of the shop. I was really excited about this base, but no one else is. So it's a really slow seller. So I decided to exchange it. So it's my natural boo. It's an 80/20 Merino natural bamboo blend. And this is plum jam. And this is antique copper. And I've dyed up 4 skeins of each that are going into the shop on Sunday. So if you want all 4 of them for a sweater project, you'd better be ready on Sunday, just in case. So that's a Sunday, this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Plum jam and antique copper. The replacement yarn, by the way, is 100% merino, and it's from a different supplier, because my favorite supplier in England, it's a smaller business, and all the yarn I can get from him, I get from him. And I have one of his bases in my shop. It's a worsted, and it's the softest worsted I've ever come in contact with, literally. And he asked me if I would be interested in getting the same fiber blend as a fingering, and I of course was I wanted to do that. So this is going to be replaced by 100% extra soft fine merino, because I want to have what I call a sweater yarn in my shop. You could of course knit sweaters in Polldale, you can knit sweaters in Corriedale, but merino is softer, and for people like me that doesn't like scratchy yarn, it's not scratchy. Polldale is not scratchy at all. It's a superwash, and it's not scratchy. Corriedale is a non-superwash, and it's a bit toothy. But next to skin, I prefer merino. So, and this is insanely soft. But again, I'm not sure if it is the bamboo content that make people skeptical, but I can't seem to shift this yarn. So I'm going to, it was a trial anyway. So it's leaving my shop, and those are 2 sweater quantities. Maybe I should start talking about something else before I jabber on too much. This is one of my new colorways, Tidal Wave, and this is Corriedale, my non-superwash sock yarn. It's an 80-20 blend of Corriedale wool and nylon, and as I said, this is one of my new colorways, Tidal Wave, and the light is perfect. Let's not hope it's because of the iPad, because I don't want to use the iPad for my podcast as soon as my Mac comes back from the repair shop, because the colors show really nicely on the iPad camera, because you can tell that this is ocean blue with some teal tones in it. And if I liked blue, I like blue, but if I could, as you can see, this color doesn't look great on me. If it did, I would knit myself a sweater in this. And this colorway on Corriedale, most of my Corriedale are tonals or semi-solids, because it might be me, but I can't seem to get speckles to look good on non-superwash. So that's Corriedale, and I've made a few sock sets. This is the aforementioned Pop Rocks. This is 50 plus 20 grams. So it's a bit cheaper than the full sock sets, but there's plenty for a pair of socks. So that's my Pop Rocks. It's got loads of bright colors in speckles. And another sock set is this. It's my Grab Your Drink, but this is in XR Merino DK. I dyed up some sock sets on fingering as well in Grab Your Drink, but because Grab Your Drink is such a popular colorway, when I dye up more sock sets of that, I normally just put them in the shop and put up a post on Instagram that they're back in stock, instead of waiting for the shop update. And another sock set, The Valentine's collaboration with the Gibberusus was really popular, and I decided to give people that wasn't able to get a collaboration kit to be able to get the yarn. So I dyed up 4 sets of love story, and something happened when I dyed up this. The red color broke, so this has purple tones in it as well as the red. I was actually considering calling it Tainted Love, but it's Love Story. It's the same colorway as the Valentine's collaboration kit, or as close as I can get from memory, because I didn't write down the recipe for the colorway because I was thinking it's a one-off. And then the last sock set that's going into the shop on Sunday is my Pac-Man. I dropped it on the floor, my Pac-Man with 2 minis, and this color is not cooperating, but that's nothing new because that's neon green, and it's really neon green. It's the same green as in the skein, and that's a hot pink mini. This is XR Merino DK, so this makes for a thicker sock, or you can of course knit a hat and use these 2 for striping, because this is a 100 gram skein and these are 20 grams each. This yarn I also have on 150 gram skeins. That's enough for a pair of socks without contrasting heels, toes and cuffs. And it's also really good for sweater quantities because you don't need as many skeins when the skeins are 150 grams. In my experience, when you knit a sweater in DK, the skeins fly really fast. So bigger skeins is a good thing when you're knitting a sweater. So that's about it for this episode. I think I've shown you what I had on show and tell. I've talked about my shop update and the knit-alongs. Another thing, I still have the year-long Arctic Crafts knit-along. If you knit something with my yarn, remember to put it in that thread. And of course, if you knit something with my yarn for the Treat Yourself mal, double dip. Don't forget to double dip. Then you can post it in both. The prices I've shown you before. For the Treat Yourself mal, I have 3 prices. And I have a pattern price that I'm going to draw on Instagram. So remember to use the hashtag TreatYourselfMal2021 when you post pictures on Instagram for the make-along. And now I have finished. I am going to make myself a cup of tea, edit this, and try to weave a bit. Unless my shoulder gives me too much trouble. So I hope you have a nice weekend. I'll see you in 2 weeks here on YouTube, and probably before that on Instagram.